Hello summoners, my name is Freak and welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring KO, the Sower of Corruption. Just kidding, it's not Freak, it's me, Jeremy, and a lot of you guys really enjoyed the skin concept videos, and we really wanted to step it up and take a look at some awesome fan champion concepts as well. And we decided, instead of just taking a list and looking at a bunch of them in one video, we wanted to try just looking at one individually. So today we're showing off a really awesome character concept that was posted to the League of Legends boards by an individual that goes by the name of Blue Rex, with artwork, abilities, and even a little bit of a background story. So KO is a ranged mage from the Void that can only survive while living in the corruption that he spreads, and he's on a mission to spread his corruption in order to give his unknown master more influence over the world. His artwork makes him look kind of like a deformed purple humanoid. It's pretty unique, which is always an awesome thing in terms of adding new characters into the game. The main focus of KO is to work as a disruptive teamfighter, so he has a lot of area of effect abilities in his kit, but with a little bit more of a focus on sort of like confusion and sustain damage as well, rather than just kind of blowing people up like Ziggs might. And jumping straight into his abilities, KO's passive is Strength in Corruption, and it works around a mechanic called Corruption that KO has on the rest of his kit. Some of them spawn like a purplish black ooze on the map that will slow enemies that are in it before disappearing after a short time. KO's passive gives him bonus damage and movement speed while standing in his corruption, so the core idea of KO's gameplay is to lay down your corruption in a teamfight and then use it to reposition and hinder the enemy opponents. So before we go into the rest of his basic abilities, we should actually explain his ultimate first, and its aspect of corruption. Essentially, it kind of just turns him into a huge badass, like a more larger, sort of like evolved form, that gets him double the bonus from his passive, as well as bonus effects on all of his other abilities. He also spews corruption on the area around him, and gains stacks that let him teleport to a position at any location that has his corruption on it. Not only does it look super awesome, but it has a ton of synergy with the rest of his kit as well, letting him increase his damage, hit more targets, and become a lot more mobile to the point where he would be really difficult to lock down. He can only teleport to areas he already has corrupted though, which kind of introduces this cool mind game of trying to figure out what patch of ooze he's going to pop up at. KO's Q is called Sow, and it makes him lob a ball of corruption onto an area, dealing damage in an area of effect. He applies a line of corruption along the path of the skill shot, and a larger amount of corruption on the ground where it lands. When he's in his aspect form, the orb is bigger and has a larger area of effect radius, but it also bounces once and has a second, smaller impact with reduced damage. So is your safe farming tool and a way to get some early damage down on an enemy, but it's actually really flexible as well because of the line of corruption that it leaves in its wake. And because KO receives a movement speed bonus while he's standing in his corruption effect, you can throw a Q towards your own tower or through the direction that you're running as you try to make an escape to safety if things are looking bad, or if you maybe just want to get around the map faster. Once he hits level 6, he can also throw an orb into the distance and quickly teleport it to use it as an escape or maybe a surprise attack tool or an initiation, which is a pretty cool interaction. KO's W is called Infest, and he launches a swarm of voidling bugs in front of him that would deal damage and infest the first enemy it hits. And while his ultimate is active, he launches 3 swarms in a cone, letting him hit and infest up to 3 targets at once. Infested targets gain a massive slow for a short duration, and this powerful but short duration slow on Infest sets up KO for follow-up Q abilities or gives him the time to escape an enemy gang, so it's a very versatile effect since he can use it as an escape tool before he unlocks his ultimate. It is a skill shot though, so players with fast reactions will be able to dodge the swarm and deal with KO in close quarter combat. KO's E is Consume, and he activates it to deal damage to enemies that were either in his corruption or infested by his W. And any enemies that are both infested by his corruption and his W take bonus damage. If he's in his aspect form, his ultimate, Consume would also root all corrupted or infested enemies in place. Consume is a combo effect in the sense that if KO hasn't really landed his other abilities, well, it's not going to do anything. And with that said though, the variance goes both directions because it offers a ton of power to players that manage to get a target infested and corrupted at the same time, and is a great tool for killing opponents. In the early game, KO is a playstyle that is pretty typical of what you would expect from a standard mage, probably opting to maybe farm and sit back a little bit more than harass in the early game laning phase, since he is a little bit weak because a ton of power comes once he unlocks his ultimate. So rather than going, for an early kill or for a very aggressive lane, KO kind of plays it back, a little bit safe in the laning phase, only really going in for a kill if you get your jungler to come and gank, and if you can land the powerful slow from Infest. The dynamic changes massively though once KO can activate his aspect form, since he'll now be able to all-in opponents by triggering his ultimate, throwing a Q onto an enemy, following up with the teleport as a gap closer, using Infest and Consume to combo lock them down and burn their health bar to nothing. The synergy between his Q and ultimate actually makes KO a very powerful roamer as well, especially considering that he can move quicker while he's moving on his corruption. The real fun starts though once KO is in a team fight, since Aspect of Corruption essentially turns his single target focus into an area of effect, meaning that he can get on with corrupting everyone instead of just one individual lane opponent. KO works best with powerful initiators that have great AoE crowd control like maybe Amumu or Sejuani, champions that can really pin a team down in frontline, while KO starts firing down and bringing added crowd control. Overall though, I gotta say, KO's concept is really just amazing. Riot themselves actually praised it in the comments of the post because honestly, it's just so well put together that has so much more than what you would expect from an average champion concept. It's really awesome of Blue Rex to include super cool ability combinations that work well in game, for example, using his ultimate to get across to his fast relocation, using a Q on an enemy to nuke them down, spreading corruption on the floor, teleporting to the corruption under them with the ultimate, and then you can use the W and E for a big combo effect and root on the entire enemy team possibly if you can land it. His whole kit is set up in a way that you could get really creative with. It seems like it would have a really high skill cap, would have some really awesome risk versus reward effects. He'd also probably be pretty squishy as well, so he'd have a decent amount of fair weaknesses as a mage. Honestly, this champion concept is just fantastic, and I would love to see Riot do something like this in the future. Awesome work to the creator, Blue Rex. Definitely check him out, link in the description. Anyway, looks like that's gonna be it for me. Definitely let us know in the comments below what you thought about this champion concept, and if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this, or if you'd maybe prefer that we take a look at maybe 5 or 6 champion concepts per video instead. Either way, I'll see you guys next time.